Hello and welcome to Thoughtcast. In this episode, we will uncover what's driving the growth of CRE and flex workspace market in Chennai region. My guest today for this discussion is Kanchana Krishnan, Managing Director, Chennai at Colliers. During her close to 2 decades in the real estate industry, she has worked with landlords, tenants, and investors across the Indian real estate market. She has also played the role of an advisor to many of the world's leading companies for their real estate strategy and earned the trust of valuable clients globally. A very warm welcome to you, Kanchana. We are excited to hear your take on Chennai CRE market, its growth drivers, and what the future looks like.
Thank you, Sukirti. Pleasure to be a part of the discussion today.
Thanks again, Kanchana. We know that the industry has seen phenomenal growth when it comes to CRE, especially flex workspace market. And things have actually turned quite positive for the flex industry itself, in fact, after the pandemic. So my first question for you is that what is the change in the customer behavior, or we can say the evolution in the customer behavior that you've noticed from, say, pre-pandemic to during the pandemic and now after the pandemic?
So I think, Sukirti, if you look at flex as a ecosystem in the Indian real estate market, flex offices always existed. The concept is not new to us. It existed in various forms. We used to call it business centers. We used to call it hybrid spaces. But I think from 2017, this business started gaining a lot of momentum when corporates, when occupiers were looking at exploring hybrid spaces. I would call it flex spaces. The only difference is perhaps pre-pandemic, that is when I'm talking about pre-pandemic, it's 2018. 2018 and 19, if you look at the trend through which the flex offices were growing, most of the occupiers had a perspective of having their marketing offices, sales offices, perhaps their quarterly conferences or their quarterly meetings at business centers and flexible office spaces. So that was the trend, and moving a core of their traditional space into flex was never there. While we knew flex is definitely going to be, a part of the commercial office space ecosystem, I think one area where you should thank the pandemic is, I think the pandemic accelerated the growth. That's something that I must mention. So 2018, if you look at the flex office spaces, I'm talking about the Indian flex market, I think we were at less than 5 million square feet. And as we speak, the Indian real estate market, I think the flex offices are almost touching 33 million square feet. And by in the next 2 years, we're expecting it to cross 53 million square feet. So that's the kind of, robust growth that we have seen post pandemics. Major reason is agility. I think during the, I wouldn't call this post pandemic, we're still amid pandemic. So what has happened during this period is most of the occupiers have understood the uncertainty is going to still prevail in the office ecosystem. And most of them, especially during 2020 and 2021, have grown. Most of the IT companies have grown, and unconsciously, for example, if a company was a 1,000-seater company, by 2021, when they were taking stock, they were already 1,500. Remote working enabled them to, without even planning the real estate space. I think they were hiring, the business was going good. I think this is where flex spaces came as a fill-in. So it gave them that agile workspaces. Flexibility and choice were a biggest advantage that most of the occupiers were looking at without compromising on the regulatory and governance aspect. And I think flex offices were able to give that. It was agile, speed. Usually, if you look at a traditional office deal, it takes a pretty long time. At least optimistically, if I have to say, it takes about 2 to 3 months time if all goes well. Flex given speed at the required time, cost reduction, And I think they didn't have to have huge capex, huge deposits. We're not a part of this game. So that benefited most of the occupiers. And I think last but not the least, I think occupiers were also looking at a very collaborative and, very inclusive environment. Today, most of them, I think at least 50 to 60% of the workforce is still working remote. I think while we say remote, if you are able to bring in flex as an alternative to these remote working, it gives you that fresh. So I think human interaction, collaboration, innovation, all that was required. Not only Indian real estate market, across the global market, we've seen flex growing rapidly.
Now moving on to the next question, Kanchana. In Chennai market, if I ask you, when you look at the flex workspace industry's growth, what are the major products where, which flex players are offering to occupiers that are attracting more and more occupiers today? And which are the industries where these occupiers are coming from?
See, if you look at adoption, like any other industry, adoption is there across all industries. There is no single industry which has not explored hybrid and flex spaces. But the intensity of adoption varies. For example, if you look at high technology companies, startups, and if you see IT, to an extent, IT, high technology companies are rapidly adopting technology. Today, in the last 6 months, we are seeing a lot of fintech companies, pharmaceutical companies adopting. The adoption percentage varies, but adoption has been there across all industries. Today, everybody knows what flex space is. There is no resistance towards moving. There is still uncertainty as to how much of flex they need as a part of their core office. That is still uncertain because we are still wading through the pandemic. So we don't know what percentage will go into flex, into core, but for certain we know definitely about 20 to 25% of the market is going to be flex. If I have to put it in simple numbers, for example, let's say Indian real estate market absorbs about 50 million square feet. Chennai is about 5 to 6 million square feet year-on-year absorption, out of which probably in the next 5-6 years time, we will see 20 to 25% will be flex spaces. So out of the 6 million, 25%, which is a significant chunk, will be flex space absorption. So adoption varies, but across all industries, we have seen occupiers wanting to explore flex.
And which have you seen more, like whether it's co-working or enterprise solutions or meeting rooms, like which of these products have seen more demand?
See, right now we are seeing in the last 8-12 months, if you ask me, it is more tilting towards enterprise. Because right now, after the lockdown, etc., probably they were looking at flex for fill-in, but today they are looking as a part of their portfolio. So what they want to do is, instead of co-working models, today the trend is like, so I think right now what we are seeing is there is, at least in Chennai, I can say, there's a lot of demand towards enterprise model. So enterprise model is something that any occupier who is taking, let's say 500 seats, 1,000 seats, are at least looking at a significantly longer time, let's say at least 3 years. So they want to be in a layout which is in terms of design or any aspect. So I think enterprise is catching a lot of momentum, but the co-working model is also prevalent. Although if you want to put a percentage and ask, I think enterprise is much more robust demand.
Enterprise is seeing more demand
Yes.
there. So my next question, Kanchana, is we've discussed, how it was in the past and how it's currently. What is your outlook for the future of the larger CRE industry and then the flex workspace market as a part of it?
Right now, I think if you ask me, there is no clear answer even for the occupier. We're still going through the pandemic. Return to office is still not as much as we are expecting. High technology companies and startups, we are seeing much more receptiveness towards a return to offices. I think large ITs are still preferring remote. So I think within the occupier fraternity themselves, there is still not of great clarity as to how they should position their real estate portfolio. But real estate is one of the important cost for any organization next to talent cost. Large corporates are looking at flex as a part to have certain amount of flex space as a part of their portfolio. So I would say today occupiers are looking at a core plus flex strategy. Let's say if somebody is in a 2,000 seat or let's say 10,000 seat office of headcount, probably they would look at 70-30 or 75-25. Right now, I think core plus flex is evolving, but I think it's still a wait and watch for us because most of the occupiers are bringing in a lot of strategies to bring in full force into offices, while we still see resistance towards coming to offices full time, which is why hybrid spaces, especially in tier 2, tier 3 cities are growing. So they want people to come back to work. You either come back to office or come near office. So we come near your house is the trend. So I think tier 2, tier 3 are seeing a lot of traction, but I think the future is going to be core plus flex.
Now you highlighted something very interesting here, which is, if the employee can't come to office, then can we bring the office closer to the employee? And that's, leading into my next question, which is regarding hybrid work. So we know that hybrid work has been like one of the keywords, of late, whenever we talk about the workspace strategies that are being, used by different organizations of different scale. So do you think because of hybrid work, in your conversations with occupiers, have you seen that there is an increased inclination moving towards tier 2 and tier 3 cities, even with larger occupiers? And when they are making that move, is the presence of flex operators, facilitating that transition for them?
See, if I have to put numbers into perspective, Sukirti, I think right now, between tier 2 and tier 3 cities, we are having a stock of about 5.5 million square feet. Probably tier 2, I would say Lucknow, Coimbatore, Jaipur, Chandigarh. So I think we are seeing across the tier 2 and tier 3 markets, 5.5 million square feet. We're expecting that to grow to about 8 million in the next 12-15 months, perhaps tops 2 years. So which means there is a rapid growth in terms of space take up, which means there is demand. It's a demand supply game. So tier 2 and 3, I mean, if I have to take you slightly back before pandemic, if you look at tier 2 and tier 3, tier 2, tier 3 always existed, but it did not catch that kind of momentum pre-pandemic because most of them, especially if you take Chennai into perspective, a person who's lived and studied in a city like a Coimbatore or a Madurai always aspired to come to a larger city like a Chennai or a Bangalore or a Hyderabad. So, and especially at the middle level and at the senior level, we saw resistance from people to move into tier 2 cities because their children are studying in schools, colleges, they want the best of the education. So all these were basically reasons that most of them were not moving into tier 2 and 3. But now post-pandemic, we are seeing that, trend change. Why? I think largely if you have to contribute, reverse migration has happened. After March, most of them, because there was work from home, most of them have gone back to their homes. And they have worked for almost 1 year, 1.5 years, working out of their rented accommodation in the prime cities and moved to their houses. All that they needed were internet connectivity and a decent space. So I think with reverse migration and with the comfort that they have seen, I think most of them now, if we are able to match, for example, if co-working players are able to match and give them spaces across cities like Coimbatore, Madurai, Tiruchi, Jaipur, Hosur, wherever, I think inclination towards working out of tier 2 and 3 have definitely grown. How sustainable it is, wait and watch. But as we speak, there is a lot of inclination towards moving into, working out of their or close to their hometowns. So I think there is going to be a lot of demand, at least in the short to medium term, for tier 2 and 3.
Great. I think you've highlighted some very relevant points here, with respect to reverse migration, especially, and why that's happening now versus before. Now, Kanchana, I know that you're a mother of a 16-year-old daughter, right? So you have a Gen Z audience right at home, and you keep evolving in your parenting style as well. Now, being a professional in the CRE industry, my next question for you is that, while products and industries globally are innovating, to accommodate this newer generation that will be, in the workforce in next 5 to 6 years, how do you think the flex workspace operators should innovate, whether it's in, in the terms of technological advancements or design or sustainability? What is it that they should be doing to remain relevant in future?
I think there's only one top answer for me: user experience. I think the world is moving towards customer experience. So even now, if you see in the last 2.5 years, multiple flex operators have come into fray. While 3 years back, that was not the case. I think pandemic gave rise to so many operators today. I think in due course, while consolidation is yet to happen, will happen, but right now, how will you differentiate between A and a B? Is basically, I think during the pandemic, amid pandemic, what has also happened is there is a lot of importance that occupiers have started giving to, quality of life. Today, gone are those days where people are going to sit at desk and work 9 to 6. No, that is gone. That we are not going to get. See, it is not only with offices, it is even with the workforce. I have a Gen Z workforce, and I have a millennial workforce. Not only me, I think across people at all levels will have to change their style. We will have to evolve to nurture and hire those kind of talent and make sure they stay with you. Similarly, I think co-working players, flex operators will have to come with probably good technological advancements. Don't make it very complex. Make it very simple technology changes, and a safe and a hygienic environment, given the pandemic is still around. And today, ESG is a very, very important component. Everybody talks about ESG. I think with flex spaces coming in, with hybrid, according to a recent study I saw somewhere, I don't know which company, but I think almost about 63% of the employees want to work remote. There could be a small component of flex here. All this will evolve and change, but fact remains that with hybrid and flex coming in, so we are actually doing good for the society. So which means or ESG components, and in terms of look and feel of a building, compliant building, state-of-the-art technology, and very collaborative spaces. It is there. Most of the flex players are cognizant of the demand of today's workforce, and they have been implementing all these changes, but this keeps evolving. So I think we have to be on our toes to understand how the market is evolving and make sure user experience is key. So I think that will make a big difference in your landscape.
Thank you so much. Those were really some thought-provoking insights about Chennai CRE market, and I think we've discussed overall Indian market, as well. And I'm sure this will assist CRE players in strategizing their next move. While we've talked about Chennai CRE in detail, we'd also like to know about your bond with real estate. So you started your career in real estate in 2001. And since then, you've performed a multitude of strategic and decision-making roles in many real estate companies. So Kanchana, please tell us, what are the top 3 reasons that made you firstly, join this industry and then stick around for so long?
If I have to be brutally honest, Sukirti, I think 2001 December, so almost 2002 is when I joined real estate. As cliche as it may sound, I joined by accident. I'm master's in human resource management. And,
wow.
and I got this job through a reference, and I took up the job. Only after joining, I knew this was real estate. On the face of it, I did not like. The passion in me said, okay, let me try for a year and see what this, I needed a job. Frankly, I needed a job at that point in time. I needed money. So I gave myself 1 year. I said, let me work and see what this industry offers. Because my first job was with a company by name Chesterton Megraj. And I was, Anuj Puri interviewed me. And when I met him and when I spoke to him about so he told me what this industry can offer. And when I look back, I know all those words were true. Networking, the kind of connects you can make, all that in 20 years has definitely happened. So I gave myself 12 months to see how this works. First 6, 8, 10 months were very difficult. First, slowly it started to grow on me. I started liking it. I think 1.5 years into the industry, I knew, yes, I don't think I'm a HR person. I think I'm more of a salesperson and a networking person. That's when I started liking the business. And I think the top second, if you ask me why I stayed, is it's the adrenaline rush every deal gives you. I think I'm very passionate, so I'll continue to speak about real estate. So it's the rush that every business or every deal gives you, the kind of value that you can create and offer your clients, and the repeat business. I think all these are some of the adrenaline rushes that I get, which keeps me continue to do the business even after 20 years. Number 3, most important, it pays well. So you have to work hard for it. Nothing comes easy. And it's okay if you don't know anything. I keep telling my team, it's okay if you don't know anything, but learn. Don't stop learning. I think most important takeaway that I want to leave at this conversation, Sukirti, is that knowledge is power. And it's very, very important to constantly upskill yourself to make sure you have to stay relevant at all times. So the only way that you can do is give always 125% and continue to gain knowledge. I think that's the best thing that I can give as an input to all aspiring real estate professionals. This is a lovely industry to be in. It has wonderful growth opportunities, but you have to give your fullest. Instantly, nothing is going to happen. As a parent, I can tell you of a Gen Z, I keep telling my daughter.
Isn't that true for any industry,
Anything, especially with the young aspirants. They are all the team members in my team. I think they are extremely intelligent, out of the box thinking. They're not like my generation. So I think most of them are, they want to learn more. They want to upskill. But only thing is, everything, you have to be very patient. Patience is key. And don't expect instant gratification. You work for it. And I'm sure I have seen whatever success, good, bad, ugly, I have seen in the industry in the last 20 years. It's a very, very rewarding industry as well. It gives you a lot of opportunities, but constant perseverance and patience is also required.
Thank you so much, Kanchana, for sharing these very interesting, aspects of your personal and professional life with us. I'd also like to thank all of my audience for listening in. We are grateful for your continued support as we bring more informative content to you. Until next time, take care and stay safe.